Hi, this is your host Abdul Bhartia and welcome to another episode of Mainframe Matters. We are here at Open Mainframe Summit in Philadelphia, and today we have with us Byron Smith, Vice President of Mainframe Security at M&T Bank. Byron, it's great to have you on the show.
No, it's great to be here. It's great to be here.
Yeah, I was also, of course, listening to the discussion that was going on in the diversity lunch. I listened to your story, which is kind of not only impressive but also inspiring. So I would take some moment, just tell us, quickly about your own evolution.
Sure. So I'll start again. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Byron Smith. I am the Vice President of Mainframe Security at M&T. So my journey started at University of Maryland Eastern Shore. Go Hawks, HBCU pride. My journey started there where I was a product of the UMES IBM Academic Initiative. It was led by a consultant at the time. His name is John Thompson, and John was the main consultant in between our school and IBM. So I went to John one day and said, hey, John, what can I do to join this program? I've never heard of mainframe. It's different. He said, Byron, we would love to see your grades, and I think this would be a great fit for you. But unfortunately, I didn't have the grades. I didn't have any of that. But the one thing that IBM shared with me when they hired me as an intern during my sophomore year in college, it was my hungerness and my motive to be hired. So because I had that, necessarily, I didn't have the grades. I was a DJ in college. There was a lot of things going on. So because I had these interpersonal skills, IBM saw that and they said, this is a young man who's trying to grow, and I did grow. From IBM, I was able to succeed and use the experience and go to ADP up in Jersey. Then from ADP, I went to Visa, and then from Visa, I'm now at M&T. So again, as you can see, my journey has been in the mainframe space for the past 10 plus years, and I'm only 33. So I wanted to make sure that was said so people can understand that you can be an up-and-coming leader regardless of your age. It's just all about your motive and your drive. So with me, that is the one thing that has helped carry me through my journey over time. Is because of the fact that I was always myself, and I never really looked at disrespecting others, because again, I want people to judge me based on the content of my character and not my skin or anything else. So my journey started a little unorthodox. Wasn't your average 2.0, 3.0, 4.0 student. I was just a normal student, and I leveraged my interpersonal skills to get to where I am today.
I'm curious, why mainframe? Because mainframe is a technology that has predates us, So what was that you were attracted towards mainframe?
Oh, great question. So what attracted me to the mainframe, and is still there, that attraction, is the fact that the mainframe is the backbone of society. So when you look at the mainframe and you notice how different components, different organizations, different ethnicities, background, all are working to support an economy on a global spectrum and not just in the United States. So when I realized that the mainframe played a critical part in our everyday lives, I realized that I can join an industry where I'm actually doing something and making a difference, and not just, I'm a program and write code all day. So the mainframe is not just something that I value from a stance of the industry opportunities, but I value it because of its importance to our society. So that's why I love the mainframe, and I'm still on the mainframe because of its place it has in our day's lives, our current lives.
Right. Also, you said you are around 33.
Yeah.
Are you considered millennial or what? Is that?
Yeah, I'm considered a millennial. I'm not a Gen Z. I'm considered.
I don't like those labels, but if you slap it on me, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
So how does it feel to be a millennial mainframer? So talk about that.
So it's interesting you brought this up. Me and the CEO, Renee Jones. That's what they call me. Renee Jones, the CEO of M&T Bank, and also Mike Westler, the CTO. I'm the millennial mainframer. It feels great to be in this space as a millennial, because the fact that the mainframe majority of the industry is going to be retiring in the next 3 to 5 years, it's going to take leaders like myself to step up and say, hey guys, I don't know that I know everything. I'm not the best person, but I strive to be the best. I know how to have interpersonal skills, and I want people to understand that the mainframe industry is a place where you can continue to grow from a diverse perspective as well as professionally and personally as well. So the mainframe, being a millennial, it's kind of, it's like it's our turn at the bat. It's like, okay, let's see how we as millennials can change the future. So I like it right now.
We live in a kind of world. This morning I had a couple of discussions about diversity, inclusion, equity. First of all, as you also said that the mainframe community is kind of getting moving towards retiring. How is the mainframe community from the perspective of diversity and inclusion? Because those folks were there where society was different, cultural norms were different. We would not see that many diverse workforce also in those companies. And suddenly now they are seeing these kind of folks there. So talk a bit about not only that experience that you have felt, but the changes that you're also feeling.
Great. This is a great question. So for me, when I started in the mainframe industry, one of the first colleagues of mine was a Cali Polytechnic student from a different background. He was, I believe it was Cambodian, I believe. We never really met anyone from a different background, from a different descent. So what I've seen in the mainframe space was diversity was always there. Believe it or not, it was always there. There was women, there was people, from different ethnicities and background. There was people from different affinity groups like the LGBT community. So again, when I look at the mainframe industry, it's diverse by design. Taking all different perspectives and having them work together in a workplace. So to me, the mainframe industry or technology in general is diverse. But what people or society needs to start focus on is the inclusion and the belonging of it. We can't focus on just one piece of it. We have to focus on the equity, the inclusion, and the belonging. Do I belong here? Am I going to be included in everything that I need to be included on? Where's the equity piece of it? So again, I think what in the mainframe space that people need to understand is the mainframe by design is diverse. 7 different technical components working together to operate. Same thing as humans. Same thing as in general, as far as understanding diversity, gotta have a different mind, a variety. So that's kind of how I look at things, especially from the mainframe being a millennial. I've seen a lot of changes in a diverse space, but the one thing that I can say that I've seen in my experience is the mainframe has exemplified diversity at every opportunity or every position that I've seen in my tenure, in my background as well.
Yes, tech industry is diverse, but the challenging part was that you just brought up that inclusion. And that's where diversity happens by itself. Folks move, folks come, folks join. Also, if you look at the open source, that's even more diverse because
Correct.
Folks from all around the world contribute. But another point that you make and I was talking to Cynthia this morning was, do I belong here? You can work in an organization that may have a very diverse workforce, but may not have an environment that makes them feel included. Yes, you will do a job for either your passion or for the paycheck.
Correct.
But the feeling of, do I belong here? So what has mainframe community done? Where do you feel that, hey, I belong here. This is my community.
The mainframe community has allowed me to grow in ways that I never thought I would. Because of the mainframe community, my exposure to it early on in college allowed me to see that the world is bigger than just Baltimore, Maryland, where I'm from. The world is just bigger than a small HBCU like University of Maryland Eastern Shore. The world is bigger. So in order for me to sit here and say I want to be in an industry that I just was exposed to, and the fact that it allowed me to grow, it gave me the motive to even stay. And in fact, I'll give you, this situation where when I first got to IBM, I realized that they were treating me as an adult. Even though I was still in college, they treated me as an adult. They didn't care about my background. They didn't care about my ethnicity. They cared about who I was as a person and not everything else. So what I realized early on was this is an industry that's going to be for me because it's diversity. It's diverse. And in order for us to continue to strive as a society, especially in the mainframe space, diversity is going to play a critical part in society's succession towards technology advances because, again, technology is going to overpower a lot of things moving forward. So if we don't look at diversity with a different lens or different scope and judge people based off of their character and not their skills, or hire them based off of their character and not just the skills, we will be a more diverse and included and belonging type of society. And lastly, from an inclusion perspective, I've always felt included because I was being treated as a normal person. It was, hey, Byron, do you want to go grab happy hour? Hey, Byron, do you want to come to this meeting and shadow me? I was afforded these opportunities because I was being myself. And because I was being myself and I was able to adapt and learn, that it made me feel included because I was able to have such opportunities where I'm meeting different people and in different backgrounds that I've never met before in my life because I'm from a small town like Baltimore. And I'm a first generation college student, and so it's a lot of pressure. But if I don't do this, or at least try, how am I going to be able to tell my brothers and my sister or my kids, my daughters, how am I going to tell them how to maneuver in life if I've never got out there and failed? So that's why I look at diversity different. Diversity to me is, especially technology, it's built by design, but it's the inclusion that we need to focus on more. Can we make sure the person that's being hired feel included? What can we do to make them feel included? And it's the interpersonal skills that I'm referring to that hiring managers or society need to start focusing on more. I don't care about your technical ability. I care about your interpersonal skills. Can I put you in a room in front of 1 million people and you talk about our company? Can you represent for our company in a sense? So that's kind of how I look at diversity, how I've always felt included from the Mainframe perspective, is they gave me opportunities and made me feel as just a normal, regular person and not, oh, he's just a black guy, we just check the box off, So that has been my experience over the past 10 plus years in the mainframe space.
Why should hiring managers care about diversity? What value does it bring? I mean, of course we do know, but I want to bring it because another thing is, you said diversity, of course folks will apply, but you have to make them create an environment. You have seen your own journey from an intern, as you said, all the way to the VP stage, So you have, played different roles there, managers versus, just being an intern. So can you also share, the right approach that people have so that, okay, your workforce is diverse enough, but it should also feel inclusive. So what would be your advice? As you said, they were just treating you like a normal person, but sometimes we have to also make extra effort.
So the approach that I feel that hiring managers should begin to start adapting to would be, and I've mentioned it, but I'll mention it again, it's hire based on character and not only the skills. Can I see the integrity? Can I see the trust? Can I hold you accountable to something that I need to get done? Furthermore, while you're looking at, hiring someone, you're trying to understand their interpersonal skills, you're trying to see if they can be a good fit, take a step back. What does this person have that will help the company? What do we need? And again, it's one of those things where you gotta look inside yourself. You gotta really see. If I treat myself with respect and integrity and things of that nature, or core basic ethic values, that's what I would want for someone that I want to hire. I want to see the type of person you are. That's where the content of character come in. I want to see the content of your character. Can I trust you? Okay, great. I can teach you mainframe. I can teach you cybersecurity and things of nature, but I can't teach you how to be transparent. I can't teach you how to be honesty, even integrity. So it's a lot of different values, but the one thing I'm going to emphasize again that I want hiring managers and the masses to understand is when we as a society begin to hire based off of character and not skills, that's going to take our society to the next level. And it's going to help get rid of the diversity, inclusion, belonging, quote unquote, sensitivity. Because right now, diversity, inclusion, belonging, equity is sensitive because some people just don't like uncomfortable conversations. And that is fair. However, in order for us to change a century-long or more issue, we gotta start by looking at what we are now and saying, how can we change for the future to help us, to help each other, help our business partners, but also help society in general. So that is the piece of advice I have for hiring managers. I want us to start looking at the content of character, not just the skills, because that will take you far more than your skills. And that's exactly what I did. I utilized and leveraged my DJing abilities to help me get to where I am. Because I was a DJ, I was able to leverage my public speaking. I was able to leverage the confidence of public speaking. I was able to leverage the ability to make people move their body in a sense. As a DJ, that's what the role is. Make them move their body. From a technical perspective, as a VP, you want to lead. In order for you to lead, you have to first walk it. If I'm walking it, then I'm sure someone else will see it. And that goes to your point lastly of when I'm in a room, we're trying to make the decision on what we need. These where the variety of perspectives come in. I need a woman's perspective. I need someone else to come in and help us make this decision. So again, I look at diversity, inclusion, and belonging, equity a little bit different than a lot of people. But again, I want hiring managers and our fellow colleagues in the industry to understand that we need to start hiring based off of character and not skills.
Why should we care? Why should hiring managers care about making sure that their workforce is diverse? And what value does diversity bring to an organization?
Diversity brings more opportunities to the organization. If you have an organization where it's all only men, why should women even want to work with your organization? Why should women even want to do anything with your company when you have a room full of just men, regardless of ethnicity or background, and that's just a men? Or you can flip it. Why are we only hiring people from a different background or hiring based on potential? We have to look a little bit deeper, but it's not as complex as people think. It's not. We really got to take a step back and say, okay, we know what diversity is. We know what we need it to be, but are we going to exemplify that? And I think that's where the disconnect comes and people are challenged by it and they're trying to figure out how we can adapt in a way where diversity is shown, but in a way where they feel included and they feel that they belong here. So that's kind of where I feel that companies, or even, personally, people need to look within themselves before they start saying, well, you know what? I'm going to check the box. I think we can hire them. That's that. No. Look within yourself first. And that's going to help you branch out more.
Yeah. I think that one of the example, it was on the keynote also with you during the discussion, was that it should be like biodiversity, because if you look at ecosystem, you don't have only one kind of plant or grass. That's an unsustainable. It is no ecosystem there. Ecosystem is where there's a diversity of biodiversity. Plus, if you look at the world, if your company doesn't look like the world that we live in, it's not going to be sustainable. Exactly. Different cultures, like you said, you have your DJ. So the way you approach public speaking is totally different the way Kelsey Hightower or Casey Neistat approaches,
Right.
Or a lot of other public speakers. When you bring people from different backgrounds, they bring their problem-solving cultural skills, So suddenly, your organization is enriching from
Correct.
all those people versus just one way of solving a problem.
Correct.
So there are so many advantages of diversity that we cannot even count them. But I remember Brian Bellendorf, he's kind of one of my icons, he was a creator of Apache as well. He was like, if your company, your organization doesn't look like the world that we live in when it comes to people, that's not going to be sustainable.
And that is a great point, because what you have to understand is when you're having these calls, like for example, some companies are international. Some are in the States and they have colleagues over across the sea in Europe or Asia. So again, if you have a diverse workforce like that, people, like for example, languages, this is the perfect example. Someone who speaks Spanish. Do we have anyone on our team that speaks Spanish as well? We're working with a client, we just brought this, they speak Spanish, we don't have anyone. So why are you working with a Spanish company? You don't have no one on your team that speaks Spanish fluent enough to help you make a business decision. And why is that? Because your company's not diverse. So again, when it comes to diversity in the workplace, when it comes to diversity in general, technology is diverse by design. But we in the technology space need to acknowledge the diversity and exemplify it in a way that customers and clients and our colleagues can feel included and they feel that they belong in this space and at this company.
If you look at just the mainframe, or we are here, the Open Mainframe Summit, what kind of future you see here? And not just for mainframe, because first of all, mainframe, people don't know it, but mainframe is the heartbeat of the modern economy. Every time you send a transaction, it essentially 99% goes through a mainframe system. Correct. There. Mm-hmm. We do talk a lot about cloud native technologies, public cloud, private cloud. it's not a mainframe versus cloud work. It's going to be mainframe and cloud. Just the way we
correct.
talk about multi-cloud, it's going to be multi-architecture, it's multi-cloud kind of work. So talk about the importance and role of mainframe that you see in coming years.
I'll say, as the mainframe has modernized since its inception, April 7th, 1964, the mainframe has changed tremendously because of the diversity work. You have colleagues in the industry from different parts of the world working together through one thing, and that is to keep the economy going. Mainframe is the backbone of society. When I realized that in college and I found out the true meaning of what the mainframe is doing for the community and what it's doing for the economy, it made me feel that I'm working with an organization, or I'm pursuing to work with an organization where diversity is at the forefront and not at the back. And how can I sit here and say that's at the forefront? Because when you look at the mainframe, who all creates it? You have companies there, small or big, medium, large, who create pieces from different backgrounds. So again, when you look at diversity and you look at the mainframe, it's built by design. By design, the mainframe is diverse. But we have to make sure that we're hiring people that can help, that have the motive that can help with the mainframe industry moving forward. And it's going to take, leaders like yourself to have opportunities for me and my colleagues who are younger to come up and say, hey, I remember Byron Smith had a conference, where he was speaking. So this type of environment where we're doing this video, people are going to want to hear this. So when it comes to the mainframe industry in the future, mainframe is already diverse. But what the mainframe is starting to do is make companies and the industry feel more included and belonging, because it's not that we want to work together, it's we have to. And regardless of background, I have to sit here and be able to have a conversation and not judge you based off of your color, your background, your gender, sexual orientation, etc. I shouldn't have to worry about that. I should be worrying about, let's figure this issue out and then we're gonna go grab a beer. Let's figure this out and then we're going to present to management. Let's figure this out and we're going to present to the board of directors how we think we should do X, Y, and Z. I would rather us shift our focus on each other and not the work. The work is going to get done, but the mindset needs to be ingrained now for the future, so the future can understand that we're making strides today to change the future to benefit us in the future. Because as we all know, as I wrap up, the mainframe industry is dwindling. A lot of people are retiring, and that's fine. But this gives us more opportunity to bring in more diversity, to bring in an industry and a generation, the Gen Zs and millennials like myself. This gives us an opportunity to be the forefront of diversity, saying, hey, we learned from our predecessors. They didn't get this opportunity, but we're here now. We're here to be the diverse leaders and millennials and Gen Z, et cetera, for the next 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 plus years, just like how the mainframe has since 1964.
You talked about the mainframe being the backbone. We sometimes talks about, the data is the new oil and all those things. Oil comes and goes, solar energy, so mainframe is more like a solar energy. It predated us and it's still going to be there. Everything else will come and go.
Yeah, it's going to be there.
For a very long time to come.
Yeah, it's going to be there. And I think because we're in a sensitive time, of modernization as an industry in general, it's not just mainframe, it's the hybrid cloud, it's the RESTful API layer. So it's a lot of different moving pieces, and then with cybersecurity on the rise. So it's just one of those things where the mainframe is going to be there. But again, we got to continue to make sure that we have the right conversations now to make sure it stays there and stays on top to continue to be the backbone of society. Because again, without the mainframe, there will be no credit cards. There will be a lot of things. There will be no man on the moon without the mainframe, believe it or not. So there's a lot of little hidden tricks with the mainframe industry that I've learned over time that kept me motivated and kept me attracted to the mainframe industry that I love. And this is why I'm so passionate and motive about it, because we need to have leaders like us that speak up to help our fellow colleagues and the new generation. They have to hear from us.
Byron, thank you so much. And I look forward to speak with you again, because this is a topic not only close to my heart, as you said, we need to keep talking about that as well. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. This was pretty awesome. I appreciate it. This was awesome. Thank you.